Okay, good to go.
All right.
Just double
All
check. We
right.
should see here if we are live or not. I think we are live, sir.
What's up? What's up? If you're watching live, chat below because this machine runs on props.
That's
We're not going to be able to go unless you're gassing us up, right? It's been long days. It's a long day already, and it's not even lunchtime. So I need you to gas me up if you're in the comments below. And I'm watching right here on the phone. We're going to get started here soon on our training. What is our training? I'm glad you asked, whoever you are. It's about how we add 120 plus high quality prospects to your pipeline every single month. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes. We're going to give people some time to jump on, and me and Carlos are going to just test out our audio and make sure all that stuff is cool. If you guys can hear me okay, holler at your boy. If you can't, my feelings are hurt, and how dare you? I'm seeing us live on there, so that's pretty cool.
yeah. I see us live
All
on
right.
LinkedIn as well. We've got a bunch of comments from Pau, Angie, Christopher.
Hi,
It's a bunch
guys.
of people, man. This is great.
Sick. So I'm gonna just start then. You showed up on time, so I'm gonna start on time. I promise. All right. So nice to meet you guys. My name is AJ. Today's training is how we add 120 plus high quality prospects to your pipeline every month without ads, without spamming, without throwing shit on the walls and praying that it works. Right? Sounds amazing, right? I'm glad you agree. Okay, so let's roll through. So who here, and let me know in the chat because I have it pulled up, has ever tried using LinkedIn or email for lead generation? If you've tried it in the past with success or failure, comment down below and say, give me an L, right? Because oftentimes this is an L. People, they try it and it doesn't work for them. It's clunky, it's a pain in the ass, it takes forever. The person who gave them advice is telling them to spam everybody. It's just not working the way that they want. Let me know down below in the chat. I think I'm seeing some L's. Sick. Cool. Yep. So let me know in the comments down below. There we go. I did and I do. All right. What's up, guys? Okay, I have the chat up. Cool. So my goal today is to convince you to use LinkedIn to close your next client. I'm going to show you step by step how to find your perfect client. And I'm going to show you how you can automate this entire process so that 80–90% of it is done by robots, but still doesn't seem like a spammy, sleazy, yucky way to do business. If that's good with you, holler at your boy in the comments and let me know. I like Patrick says I still do. He's had success, have done some automated. Steve Harris. Angie hasn't tried yet. Paul, I did and do. Scott says he can hear me. What's good, Scott? Scott was on our last training. Cool, man. All right, so who is this guy? I promise I'm going to make the about me really short, just in case you haven't met me before. My name is AJ. I'm the executive director here at Blink Media. We do B2B lead gen for consultants, coaches, B2B businesses, basically. We get you meetings, right? My biggest win that I've ever had in my career last year, I helped grow a company from 200 to $260 million in 10 months as their head of marketing. I didn't do it all by myself, but it's still a huge win. I love it. Before then, I worked in SMB consulting, marketing agencies, the whole thing, and I have all these features. They don't really matter. They just let you know that this isn't a 12-year-old on here because I look, dress, act, and talked like a 12-year-old. Cool. More importantly, I am a husband. This is my beautiful, perfect wife. She's too good for me. She's a social worker. She's out there actually changing the world. These are my not children, Guinness and Prana, the dogs. And when I'm bored, I pretend to be a chef. So if you want to troll me after this training, you can go find a video of me talking about, like, I don't know, making a pizza or something dumb. And that exists. You can see it. Cool. So I was the head of marketing, like I said, and it was my first stint in corporate. Before then, I always worked for myself, right? And I kind of realized pretty quickly that this wasn't for me. You can see me there on my first day looking hella nervous, right? I was so used to working remote, so used to working independently, and I didn't know this, right? I quickly found myself in a job working 40 to 60 hours a week. And I knew I wanted out. I knew that I wanted to go get consulting clients. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work in a job anymore. I want to go back to being independent. I want to be an independent consultant. I like the variety. I like the time freedom. I even like the challenge. I legitimately do. When there's a challenging account, I love trying to solve it. It's like a puzzle, right? But I didn't have time to do all the things that works to generate clients, like make content, send DMs, email, run ads. And I definitely didn't have money to hire a sales rep to go do this for me, right? So I needed a way to automate my biz dev. And I didn't know how to do it, right? While I was at work, I was in my inbox all the time. I was in my project management tool. Sometimes I was on LinkedIn because we did staffing and recruiting. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm on LinkedIn and email, maybe ideal customers are on there as well. And that's kind of where this was birthed. I needed a way to build demand without training people, without spamming people, without off-putting people. Okay. So automated demand generation was born. Why is it blurry? It's not an error. I'm doing it on purpose. It's what we call a hook. I'm opening it up so that you keep watching. But I'm going to actually give you the entire strategy my company uses right now so that you can go implement this when you're done with this call. I want you to leave here with tactical, practical tools. This isn't a hype fest with some stupid course at the end. The outcome of this is to show you how to do this so that you can go get clients. If that sounds good to you, hit me with a G in the comments right now.
I'm gonna hit you with a G verbally. Let's go.
Let go. Thanks, Carlos. Also, thank you, Carlos, for hosting this event and inviting me. I'm honored to be here. I, because of Carlos, have not that much time anymore. So I got here right in the nick of time. So I appreciate you, my man. I hope this is valuable for your people.
Yeah, you're the AJ. And just for the folks who aren't aware, AJ, I'm actually a client of AJ's. AJ helps me get clients for my copywriting business, where we'll sell things from as low as $2,500, or some of our higher ticket packages are $25K. So if you're someone in the B2B space, whether you're a copywriter, freelancer, etc., then definitely listen to this training, because what AJ is going to reveal here is exactly what he does on the back end for my business, and it's a night and day shift in the quality of leads we're getting. So I'll let you get back at it, man. Just wanted to let people know that you are the real.
No, I appreciate being gassed up. Like I said, this machine runs on props. Angie, thank you for the G. Emmanuel, thank you for the G. Steve Harris, thank you for the G. Okay, so who does this work for? Great question. I'm glad you asked. PowerPoint presentation. So most of our clients, I'd say about 80% of them are consultants, B2B consultants, B2B executive coaches, career coaches, freelancers like Carlos. He's a copywriter and funnel builder. We have some media buyers, but it works in all types of verticals. We do have some staffing and recruiting agencies. We do have some sales and leadership coaches. Basically, if your avatar exists on LinkedIn or is a business owner, this will work for you. Good or good? I hope it's good. All right. Sorry, I had lots. I'm a beverage girl, so I had like my Celsius. I have 2 coffees here, and I'm probably going to get another one after this, and no breakfast. Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Let's go. Coffee time. All right. So who does this not work for? So this doesn't work for if you're like selling a physical product, obviously, right? If you're selling like energy drinks, if you're selling water bottles, if you're selling pajama pants, this isn't going to work. Anything direct to consumer. If you have an e-commerce store, this isn't going to work. If you work with e-commerce store owners, though, this crushes. Okay. And if you don't have a business, I say that with a caveat, because we do have a lot of clients who are freelancers and or startups who hit us up because they're like, I've used up my entire network. I need help. IV caffeine drip for the win. Thank you, Steve. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Companies that trust us. So the big famous one is Jasper. I've spoken at the founder of Jasper's event, given him some consulting as well. If we go back, this is me speaking at the event back when I dressed like a 12-year-old. I still dress like a 12-year-old, but when I thought dressing like this was cool at speaking engagements, cringe. Roofing companies, productivity companies. This is a B2B coaching for people who want to get promoted, staffing, health and wellness, a marketing firm, a demand gen agency, tech consulting. So all different verticals. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. Lots of people have come through us. This is not a theory. Okay. The most important client who trusts us is this handsome guy. Carlos Redlich. So I deeply appreciate you, Carlos, once again. And that's his beautiful daughter. For our trust, we had a really good win with Carlos. We have great results with him. And his was one of those quote unquote challenging accounts. It took a minute to get things to work. And then when it did, it just fired, right? So it's all a puzzle. I've been featured on all these things. You can Google it. Big who cares? It's just to let you know that I've been doing this for about 15 years. So even, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I just know some stuff. Here's some smart people who say I'm smart. These are the famous ones: Scott, Dave, Nancy Stanley. If you go to my website, I have hundreds of these. Again, I'm just saying this because marketers make stuff up all the time. And I don't want to be a marketer who makes stuff up. I want this to be factual. Okay. So I'm just going to walk you through the exact process we're doing. AJ, show me some more proof. Okay, cool. So this is how many super qualified prospects we've driven for ourselves and clients over the past 12 months, around 15,000. These are all C-suite decision makers, business owners, VPs of ops, presidents, that kind of decision maker. So we know what we're doing. We know how to make it work. This is not made up. This is our HubSpot account that we just got going in the last year. Okay, so does anybody here on this call, Facebook or LinkedIn, have an email list? If you do, hit me with an E in the chat right now. I want to know if you have an email list. And I also want to know what you think a good open rate for an email is. So let me know what you think a good open rate for an email list is. Some people might say 10%. Some people say 20. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? Hit me with it below. Again, this machine runs on props. I need the feedback. It's the only thing that makes it through the day. I stand here alone all day. This is the closest thing to social interaction I get. Please. Cool. 20%. Okay, cool. So 10, 20%, some people say 20%, some people say 30. We get as high as a 90, 89% open rate on a cold email to a stranger. So if you're a marketing professional or a sales professional, you're probably going home alone face, right? Holy crap, right? And our reply rate, our bare minimum is 20%, but we get up to 33%. Now you might be saying, AJ, that's great for you, but can you do it for other people? Yes, we do it for dozens of other clients as well. Here is the proof: 45 meetings for us, 13 meetings for this client, 12 meetings for this client, environmental consultant, 17 meetings, a B2B productivity coach, 17 meetings, an operational strategic advisor, 46 meetings. And these are just the clients that are willing to share their stuff. So some people don't want us to share their secrets. Okay? So we do this in 3 different ways. So way 1 is we find your ideal prospect. We find your ideal customer and we source those people, and we typically do it on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute here. Okay. The second thing we do is we build you a business development pipeline that automates 80% of what you're doing. Okay. Automate 80% of everything you're doing, with the outcome of you focusing on just replying to people who are interested in your services. And then 3 is we fill that pipeline with leads so that you have a long line of people waiting to want to work with you. That way, you never have to give a discount. That way you never feel like, where's my next customer coming? I hope somebody doesn't pause. I hope somebody doesn't cancel, because you always have a huge pipeline loaded with potential opportunities for your business. Good or good so far? A scale from 9 to 10, how are we feeling? 9? Good. All right. Let's press forward. So this is some of the stuff that we do. I'm going to actually blow past this in the interest of your time. So when it comes to finding C-suite executives, pull out your notebooks or your notes app or whatever you're doing. Here's some of the things you want to pay attention to when you're on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Okay. So first of all, if you don't have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, go get it. I know it costs money. So does running a business. Go get it. Go do it right now. Go buy it. It's going to make you so much more money than you realize. It's much cheaper than ads. It's much cheaper than any other form of prospecting you can get out there. You don't need to go get Zoom Info if you don't want, or Apollo. Those things are more expensive. This is the cheapest way, and it's also the largest B2B database. Okay. When you're sourcing for new leads, we typically advise going after second-degree connections. And if you're somebody who doesn't use a lot of LinkedIn, third-degree connections. So this is kind of the first thing you want to use, because now you're looking at friends of friends and then friends of friends of friends. Second degree connections have a much higher acceptance rate. So if you can get an audience big enough, I typically say hang out there. But again, we see success with second and third degree as well. Okay. Then you have to decide where you want to market. Now, if you're like, AJ, I'm virtual, I can work with anybody in the world. Great. Still pick a place to begin to market, because we don't want to, we're not able to send a zillion connection requests a day. So we have to pick a place to market to. I typically advise where you live and or where your business is headquartered and or where your customers exist. So if you live in, like I live in Chicago, right? So a lot of our prospecting happens in Illinois. That said, we have a lot of clients in New York. So we also have campaigns that run in New York. We also have clients in Texas. We run a lot of campaigns in Texas and Arizona. You can cycle the audiences, but you need to pick some place to start. Okay. Then you need to find out what kind of company are you going to work with? Are you working with a small business owner, right? Are you working with a company that has like 1 to 10 people and really it's like one person and their like sister who helps them out? Or are you working with enterprise clients, 1,000-person headcount companies? Are you working with companies that have been around for a certain amount of time or not? What verticals do you work in? Do you work in construction? Do you work in chiropractic? Do you work in wellness? Do you work in e-learning? Do you work in 3M or logistics? Choosing those verticals are going to help you hyper narrow in on your ideal customer, right? And then you got to find out who your decision maker is. So it depends on the type of client you work with, right? If you're working with an SMB, it's probably the owner. Some owners like to call themselves founders or CEO or president. Fine. If you're working with a large company, CEO is probably not going to take a meeting from you. So you may want to hit up the VP of operations, the COO, the director of operations, the marketing director. It all depends on what you sell, right? If you sell HR solutions, you may hit up the head of people. So you want to really think about who is the person who is going to say yes to you or is going to bring you up as a solution. And that's something you want to do when you're building these audiences. This is honestly the most important thing. And it's also kind of the hardest thing, to be honest. Like building an audience of the correct people is harder than creating the marketing message. So you want to create an audience of those potential decision makers, and then you want to exclude the what we call anti-decision maker. So it might be like for us, it might be entry-level people, interns, mid-level managers, directors, whatever, right? Like janitor, sales reps, right? Sometimes you want to stay away from sales reps because sales reps will take meetings all day, but they don't have any decision-making power, right? So these are some things you want to think about. All right, I'm going to do a temperature check. Is this helpful so far? Does this make sense? If it does, hit me with an M in the comments so that I know I'm making sense. Oh, and yes, I know I'm all caffeined out. It's going to run out soon, don't worry. And then I'll just fall asleep and that'll be the call. Cool. So now I'm going to get into how to do this if you were a career coach. So if you're a career coach, you would probably search second and third degree connections. You would go into Boolean and search open to work, people who are open to work. If you want to get your LinkedIn sales, LinkedIn recruiter level, you can, but you do not have to. You can just do a Boolean search in that bar, put it in quotes, and it'll pull up anybody who's open to work right now. You also might look for somebody who has changed jobs in the last 90 days. You also may look for somebody who, maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you work with people who have worked in a certain place for 3 to 5 years and are looking for a new opportunity. So maybe you're targeting people who have worked at a company for 3 years and maybe are looking for a change, right? This is how you would build an audience. And as you can see right here, 5,000 results, right? So if you're a recruiter, boom, there you go, 5,000 people, right? If you're a career coach, here's 5,000 leads. They all want jobs right now that you can hit up, okay, and plug into our system that I'm going to teach you here in a second. Same thing if you were like a business and leadership coach, right? Let's say you worked with consultants in that vertical, and you're a leadership coach or a CEO coach, and you want to hit up those people, you could actually straight up search consulting services, straight up search coaching services. Those verticals exist here on top of throwing these terms in your Boolean search: coach, mentor, consultant. A little secret: this is one of the audiences we use for Carlos that we know works. And if you only do one thing on here, there's a spotlight option for people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. This is a way to avoid dead accounts. So if you want to avoid dead accounts, if you want to only hit up people who have a high likelihood of responding to you, if this is all you took from this training, you'd probably save a lot of your time and energy from today. Thank you for all the M's, guys, gals, and everything in between. I really appreciate it. Nonprofit. So we have a lot of clients who work in the nonprofit sector. Weirdly, this week has been the week of social impact people. I've had like 5 clients who are all not like on board this week who all work in social impact, which is great because that brightens my life. Like I said, my wife's a social worker. She's always making sure I'm being nice. But like you can actually target in terms of company type nonprofit and also industry nonprofit to be extra sure you're targeting a nonprofit if that's something you work with. Maybe you want to work with a headcount of 1 to 50, a smaller company who needs a strategic plan, if you're a consultant in that vertical. And again, 2nd to 3rd degree connections. And of course, always select your geography, even if you're going to do a nationwide campaign, because if not, you're going to target the entire world. And then you're going to be like, why are people from, I don't know, whatever country you're not from, ending up in my targeting? Like, I can't service clients in Peru. And if you can, great, service those clients. So when it comes to targeting your perfect client, these are the things we want to think about. So take notes, screen grab this, whatever you want, right? Job title, super important. The industry that they're in, the company size, their geography, if they've posted on LinkedIn, and their revenue. Right? Because that's different revenue, different size companies, right? You're gonna have a different person you have to talk to if you're trying to generate meetings and close deals with them. So if it's a huge company, you probably have to talk to a director and work your way up to C-suite. If it's a tiny company, you can go straight for the owner, right? And you can even add exclusions if you know that there's certain audiences you don't want to go after, right? So like for us, we'll go after business consultants, IT consultants, but we don't want advertising companies to come up in there because oftentimes advertising companies have their own customer acquisition. That said, we do have a lot of marketing agencies who hire us. So yeah, maybe I don't want to work with anybody who lives in Forest Park, Illinois. I don't know. Maybe I have a non-compete for that area. Who knows, right? So you can add those exclusions, add the titles, add the function, add their seniority level, so you can get hyper specific. Steve's like, shh, I've been screen grabbing. Screen grab away, Steve. Screen grab away. All right. On a scale from 9 to 10, are you convinced that you should be using this to find your perfect clients yet? If you are, hit me with a yes in the comments, and I'm not going to move until I see at least 3 yeses in there, which is great because I've been talking a lot. My wife's
Let's go. Let's go.
She needs a break. So hit me with some yes in the comments below. And yes, I appreciate you, Carlos.
I love it. I've been streaming this on YouTube and a few Facebook groups and in our LinkedIn event here. And so we're getting comments from a few different places that people are saying this is super valuable, man. So I'm loving this. And yeah, you're letting everyone know exactly what you're doing for me, guys. So this is unbelievable.
no hype. No,
yes,
I give away the farm. Let's stop gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? I see some yeses. Thank you, Angie, Deborah, and Steve. I only have one phone because I'm not a drug dealer. So my phone is I only have LinkedIn open, but I'll switch over to Facebook at the end here and respond. So if you guys have questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. Okay. Cool. So building a sales pipeline or an automated pipeline. So in the event that you call it something different, you don't know, I try not to make assumptions. You know what happens when we make assumptions, right? A sales pipeline is basically your list of prospective customers who are qualified and would be a good fit for your service. That's it. It's just a list of people who can buy your stuff. That's what a pipeline is. Okay. In terms of tools, these are the tools you need. Get ready to screen grab, Steve. Here are the tools. You need 5 different tools. Now, we're tech agnostic. We have our recommendations, but we're tech agnostic. We don't care. We'll use whatever, right? The first thing you need is something to find leads. So Sales Navigator is going to be it for 95% of you. If you have Zoom Info, Apollo, Crunchbase, great, use it, but you don't need to. You don't need to go buy it. Those things are kind of spendy. Sales Navigator is plenty, and it's actually the biggest one of all of them, right? Sort of. It doesn't have intent, but it probably will eventually. Okay, cool. Second thing is you need a cold emailing tool. Now, it needs to specifically be a cold emailing tool. It can't be a like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Active Campaign. Why? Great question, Steve, screen grabber of the year. It's because you do not want to mix your newsletter type audience with cold leads you are prospecting. It can affect your email deliverability. It can also affect your domain reputation. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Okay, cool. So cold email, I'm seeing questions and I just want to jump in and answer right away. I'll do it in a minute. Don't worry, Deborah. And keep hitting me with all the questions. Carlos will collect them and make sure I answer them. So you need a cold email tool. My favorite one is Woodpecker. Mailshake works instantly. I don't care. Use whichever one you want. But Woodpecker is my favorite one. Do with that information what you will. Okay, CRMs. If you don't have a CRM, HubSpot costs $0 for the functionality we need. So even if you're a startup company or a freelancer or this is a side hustle, you can get on HubSpot for $0 and manage all your opportunities. Pretty dope. Go High Level is one a lot of people in the marketing space like. Salesforce works. There's a whole bunch of different types out there. I'm trying to think of what's the other one that people like to. Oh, Pipedrive. Pipedrive works really well too for startups, and it's inexpensive relatively. So any of those work. And then we need an automated outreach tool. Now, I used to recommend tools like Connected and Expandy, and they're fine, totally do it. We've recently started using a newer software. It's called Rebel Leads that works like, it's kind of doubled the results we've been seeing internally from our clients. That said, it's not super publicly available. So if you're like, hey, I'm on Expandy or Connected and it's giving me a challenge, hit me up and I can probably try to get you in there. But yeah, and then you need digital glue to hold it all together, and that's Zapier. So those are the 5 tools you'll need in order to build this. So not too bad, right? And all these tools all together, if you were to pay for it out of your pocket, under $200 a month to pay for it. And it'll probably generate you 10 to 20 calls. So you can do the math on what a call is worth to you. I was happy to pay $100 a call running Facebook ads. So when I started seeing my cost on this, I was amped. All right. So this is the strategy that I'm going to go through right now. Okay. So this is the exact strategy, the blurred thing. Again, screen grab away, whatever. We were going to start by sourcing your audience on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now that we've built your perfect audience, we're going to send them into an automated connection request tool. Like I said, we've been using one called Rebel Leads lately, but this could be Expandy, Connected, Meet Alfred, whatever. They all work. We Connect, they all work. Rebel Leads is the most white hat of all of those, though, by the way. And we're going to use this to send the connection request, okay? So that you remove clicking connect on LinkedIn all day, like a dum-dum. This is what I didn't have time to do. This is probably what you don't want to do. Hey, maybe some of you here watching this paid $10,000 for a coaching program to tell you to click a button all day. What a bummer, right? Am I projecting? I'm projecting. Okay, so we send those connection requests. Anybody who accepts gets added into your pipeline, right? And then they get added into an email workflow. Now, this is going to be 4 to 6 emails that are sent over the course of a month. And the way our firm does it is we custom craft them for your business. If you're going to do this for yourself, which I strongly encourage, do not use a template. Google and Outlook, they can pick up on the templates and they can mark you as spam. So don't do it. Write it yourself. Use frameworks. If you need help with frameworks, Carlos Redlich is a copywriter. Hit him up. I'm sure he has a digital product somewhere who can that can help you writing it, or he can just do it for you. And you can hire him to do that. He's written emails for us and our clients. Okay. and they work really well. Okay, so we're going to hit them up with 4 to 6 emails over the course of a month, and you're going to get 1 of 3 replies, right? You're going to get either, yes, I would like to book a call. I'm interested in what you sell. Cool, easy. Then it switches to manual takeover. You book that call, you do your sales process, a demo, whatever it is, and you close. Amazing. You'll get a no. Hey, no thanks. Don't have the budget for it. Or, hey, I just hired your competitor actually. No, I'm not really into it. I don't need this right now. I'm not in any pain. Right. Or you'll hear absolutely nothing. You'll hear no response at all. In which case we'll add them to long-term nurture, where then you could add them to a newsletter. You could add them to a remarketing audience, marketers, media buyers, you know what I'm talking about. You can hit them up once a quarter, once a year, once a month if you're super aggressive, to follow up with them. Okay. So yeah. So does this strategy make sense? If it does, say, hell yeah in the comments. And if it doesn't, say, I don't know. And ask your question and I'll address it. That's how it works.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Carlos. Carlos knows I run on props. Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep powering through because Carlos said it's cool. So these are the exact KPIs. So fractional CMOs on here, B2B consultants. You guys are probably like, okay, sure, sounds good, AJ. What are the numbers? These are our actual rock bottom KPIs. This is how it informs us on how we will fix and or improve campaigns. And make sure that it works. Thank you, Angie, for the hell yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you, Steve. Okay, so 10% acceptance rate is really your rock bottom low. Like if you look goofy and don't have the nicest profile, you can expect 10%. If not, we'll probably spruce up your profile, right? You should be getting at least a 60% email open rate on your emails. If you're not, there's something off with the audience probably. Maybe the message, but probably the audience because they're not answering your emails, right? A 20% reply rate on those emails and 1 person interested for every 3 people not interested, right? So yeah, I'd like to talk for every 3. Oh, no, thank you. I'm not interested. Go away. Unsubscribe, whatever, right? Most people are nice, by the way, because this is such a soft approach. They'll just be like, hey, I'm not interested, or hey, if you could, I'm good, I'm not your client. Like you don't get like a lot of FUs because it's such a soft approach. It's somewhere between like this high volume, low batting average spam strategy and handwriting all these emails yourself, right? Like it's a happy medium, which is what I want, because your brand matters, right? Your voice matters, how you represent yourself online matters. So you don't want to send spammy, pitchy, annoying stuff. And then of these people, most of them will show up on a call. It says 95%, but most of these people are showing up on these calls, right? They asked for it. They replied to your email. The only time they won't show up is something weird happens. Like it's really rare. And then the 20% close rate, now can range. It can be higher if you have like a lower deal size. So fractional executives, B2B consultants, B2B coaches, you guys, media buyers, service providers, expect 20 to 30% close rate. If you have a large deal size, like we have some clients who sell like $30,000, $50,000 deal size type things, those can sometimes be a little bit lower. Like I have one client who sells a $250,000 Salesforce digital transformation as his smallest deal size. His biggest one is 2 million. So he doesn't have a 20% close rate and his time to sale is a little bit longer. So yeah. So yeah, that's how that looks in terms of making the math work, right? So I always want to, for our clients, they're like, well, how are you an asset and not an expense? A lot of marketing, a lot of salespeople, they're just expenses. They're just leech money away from you. They don't actually provide you an ROI. I get that. So what we do is we can send around 2,000, 2,800 connections per month, right? Meaning we'll get around 280 connections, sometimes a little less, let's even, but 280 connections added to your email campaign in that month. Of that, 20% of those people will reply. Of those, 14 will be positive, interested applies, open to a call. 13 of them will book. 2 of those should close on average. So on average, our clients close between 1 and 3 new engagements per month. Do some of them close more? Yes. Especially with Rebel Leads, our new tech, it's been double. I had a career coach, actually, I'll call him out right now. His name's Rob. What's up, Rob? I hope you're here. His campaign went live on a Monday, and he had closed his first client by a Wednesday. His deal size is around $3,000, $4,000, right? So that's like not typical. Sometimes it takes like a week or two, but like that's pretty awesome. And that's a testament to our software and stuff. Yeah. I'm going to answer all your questions, so leave them before. I'll leave them in the chat. I'm not ignoring them. I am ignoring them consciously, and I will answer them at the end. All right, cool. Next, so how to convert these prospects into sales. So really quick, don't try one call closes unless you have like a software demo that you're doing, in which case that's still not going to fly. I typically advise a 2 call to 3 call close, depending on your deal size. Do a 15-minute qualification call, use the BANT formula. If you don't know what that is, Google it or hit me up after, and I'll happily explain it to you. And then do a longer 30-minute to an hour-long strategy session, demo, whatever it may be, right? Discovery. And this is the format. Again, screen grab away, Steve. This is the process we go. So 2 to 3 calls. Typically, we do our intro call, 45-minute demo, and then we'll have a decision call sometimes. Depending on your deal size, you may not need a decision call. Like if your thing costs less than like $5,000 a month, you probably don't need a decision call. It's like if somebody needs to go like pray to whatever thing they worship, talk to a business partner, talk to a spouse, that's kind of what that's for. And then if you sell stuff for 30K, you have to send that proposal before you get paid. If it's a smaller deal, you can just send an agreement. Like our deal size is really small. So we, for our services, so we don't even really send proposals unless it's like an enterprise level where they want us to build it out for 20 people. Cool. And then how do we put this stuff on steroids? Great question. So I'm going to briefly go over this. And if you guys are interested in any of this, let me know in the comments below. And future trainings will be all about this stuff, because I've already been yammering 40 minutes and I'm having a hard time paying attention. It's my own voice. So I want to be respectful. I know a lot of you guys are probably on your lunch breaks, which I deeply appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. It means a lot, but I want to be respectful and let you chill. So some things you can do: add virtual billboards via LinkedIn ads, display ads, Facebook ads, by uploading the audience into an ads manager, hitting them up with ads 2 weeks before you even begin outreach. Okay. It's kind of the idea of like, it takes 20 touches before we make a move, right? You drive past a billboard for McDonald's every day, and then on you're drunk on a Friday night, you're like, I want McDonald's. Do you actually want McDonald's, or were you programmed to want McDonald's, right? So this helps our reply rate, our open rate, the whole deal, and our close rate, time to sale, all that's improved. Something else you can add is I have a client right now doing automated call booking on the back end. When they open the email, it automatically sends a text. And it's like, hey, thanks for opening my email. I figured it might be easier if I sent you a text. Let me know if you want to chat. Pretty cool stuff. Adding middle of the funnel remarketing material. So if you're in long-term follow-up with these people, you can hit them up with case studies. You can hit them up with white papers, publications, testimonials, book a demo, interviews. You can also do this with paid media. You could do monthly LinkedIn live webinars, just like this. Great thing about a monthly LinkedIn live webinar, you can invite 1,000 people for free. Isn't that cool? Do it. If you guys are running ads to a webinar right now, spending $1,000, $2,000 to get 100 people to show up, you could spend $0 to invite 1,000 people. And you're usually going to get some pretty cool people on those calls. Creating content definitely helps as well. Decreases time to sale. It accelerates the pipeline. And adding your LinkedIn direct messaging flows for sure helps. There's even more features and stuff that really help accelerate this that I haven't updated this thing. But like I said, using Rebel Leads, we've kind of doubled the amount of what we were doing, and we were happy with what we were doing before. So so that's basically it. So now you know how to find qualified decision makers, you know how to automate all the biz dev, and you know how to convert those people into sales. So do we have any questions? Hit me up in the comments below. and I'm happy to answer them. I think also Carlos or I will drop my calendar below. I am booked for like a week, so I might have to open up some times. But if you want to jump on a call and you have a question, that's fine. If you want to hire our firm to do it, that's fine. If you want more cringe and B2B tips, this is where you can find me. Here I am in all matters. And if you want to chat with me, this would be my call. This would be where you can book a call with me if you'd like to hire our firm. And Carlos is throwing in free 1-hour consulting copy calls as well. So you can have a great offer because he's a sweetie. And I think because what we're doing works for him. Cool.
I love this, man. Thank you so much. And this 100%, it works for me and our company. I've definitely referred a few people to you that were my own clients because I was like, well, look, man, it's working for me, and they're not having success with Facebook ads or Instagram ads because they get leads, but the type of leads they get are usually tire kickers. And so when I was like, well, the type of stuff that you're offering is going to be better if you have a higher quality lead. And so that's one of the biggest things that I found valuable with you is you actually get people high quality leads. But even like on top of that, like for us, remember we were talking about it before, is you and I had gotten together to make this thing happen. And then I think we had like the first few weeks, I didn't really have too much results, but it was because the audience we were going after, like you had mentioned in the training, it wasn't right. And so once we switched it, instantly everything started changing. And I was like, oh man, like, wow, what a big difference it makes when you actually choose the right audience. So one of the things that I've liked about working with AJ is if it's not working for whatever reason, he called me. He's like, hey man, you haven't gotten a booked call yet. What's going on? We got to fix this stuff. Before I even approached him, he's the one on top of it. He's the one who wants to make sure you're succeeding and winning. So again, I mean, I can't really vouch for him enough. He's literally been a game changer for our business and our company, and for anybody that's selling B2B, whether that's copywriting or any kind of service at all that's related with B2B, definitely want to hop on a call with AJ to see if it's a good fit. I've been dropping this link in a few spots.
Okay.
I'm just making sure I get it in all of them.
Cool. I might have to open up some times, so give me a minute if you need me to. I'm going to answer some questions really quick that I see at least on the LinkedIn side, maybe on the Facebook side too if I get a minute. Deborah H is asking, I'm a startup and I'm totally new to social media and LinkedIn. Would you say that Sales Nav is enough to get started or outsource? Yes, Sales Nav is enough to scale your business to a very high level. I mean, so when I worked at a $200 million company, they had Salesforce, or I'm sorry, not Salesforce, Sales Navigator. They had just bought ZoomInfo during my tenure there and didn't even have it implemented before I left. So yes, you can grow your company very largely with just Sales Navigator. We have a new client actually who just signed up yesterday, and she closed like a $50,000 deal just with Sales Nav. Wow. It was her first new client. And that's where she starts. It goes up to $500,000. So honestly, like, and I know it might be intimidating if you're a startup to work with these big companies, but we're all just people. If you're really good at one thing or two things, chances are you can be of value to them. And the bigger the company, the more valuable it is, meaning the more they can invest in you. So I know it's tempting to go after the small businesses because you're like, oh, there's less stakes, but then you're charging them like a couple $100 a month and you're going to resent them. So I would typically advise this for a large deal size, at least something in the like 1,000-ish a month minimum, like rock bottom. Really 3 to 5K is where you should be starting. I hope that answers your question, Deborah. What else? Steve Harris is asking, is the reply when they ask for a meeting a calendar link email? Maybe. So what I typically advise, Steve, is giving them 2 to 3 times that they can book that you're available, and then also adding the calendar as an option. That's how I do it, only because I have too many meetings right now. If you don't have that many meetings, I might say just the times, but typically I'll say like, hey, I'm free at this time, or this time. Or if it's easier for you, here's my calendar link. Because if going through a calendar link is multiple steps, it's more friction versus just saying 10 a.m. works. right? So you want to remove friction, especially on cold prospecting. I hope that answers that question, Steve. Cool. What is the difference between you and Rebel Leads? Cool, Deborah. Rebel Leads is just our software. That's all it is. Rebel Leads is just the software. It's our outreach software. So it's this part. This says Expandy, but we actually stopped using this and now use Rebel Leads. The difference between us and Rebel Leads is just the tool that does outreach. We are a service, done for you service company who builds this in your business for you, writes all the emails, writes the DM scripts, builds the tech stack, and works it until it gets you meetings. That's the difference. I hope that helps. Can you watch the full meeting somewhere, Edward M? Yep. DM Carlos Rudlich, and he will get you access to the recording right when we hop off here.
You got it.
Do we have any other question? Peter Emmanuel, I'm a direct response copywriter. Emmanuel, I don't super love you marketing on my live training, bro. This is supposed to be a value-driven training, so I'm probably going to delete that, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe ask for consent next time.
Get that fucker out of here. I'll 100%
don't-
say that shit. Have some fucking manners, man. What the fuck? All right, guys.
It's fine. It's
about
fine. It's you're tougher than me. This is why I need to surround myself with tough people. I'm a big soft baby. Hey, thank you guys so much for attending. I deeply appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me that you would invest your time. I hope you found it valuable. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, if there's anything in the future you'd want me to cover, please let me know. And I will be responding to comments right when I hop off this. So personally, or Carlos will. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Facebook or LinkedIn are both great places to reach me. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, AJ. We'll see you guys in the next training. And if you haven't yet, make sure you pick a time to speak with AJ. I'll talk to you guys